Recording in progress.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we learned about few string handling related methods. So in JavaScript string formatting, so we have methods like bold, we have italics, we have like font size, we have like font color, we have two uppercase, so we have like two lowercase, etc. All these are string formatting. We discussed about some important string formatting methods. And another JavaScript string handling. String handling related methods we learned about. One is length, that is used to know the size of the string, how many characters it is. Another, we have char at. It is used to return the character at specified index. And we have char code at. So what is difference between char at, char code at? Char at will return the character at given index, and char code at will return the ASCII code, right? Yeah. We have starts with and ends with. Starts with, ends with are used for verifying whether the string starting with that character or not, or ending with the character. These are Boolean. They will return true or false. Length is what type? Number type. Length will return number, count how many are there. And char at is what type? So it returns the character, means it is string type. Right? Anything here we call as string. And char coded number, it will return the code of that character. So starts with and ends with are Boolean. These are Boolean types. True or false they return. Now in the string handling, some more important methods are present. So some important methods we are having, like index of. Next important is index of. Sixth one, right? Yesterday we discussed above all. Index of it is nothing but it returns the index number. It returns the index number of character in specified string. Index number of character in specified string. So if a character not found, then it returns -1. If the character is not there, it will return -1. And it returns the first occurrence value. It returns the first occurrence value index. It returns the first occurrence value index. So first occurrence value index means if there are several occurrences, it will not return all of them. It will return only first. That is index of. So for example, so syntactically, suppose we have a string. So welcome, and we use str.index of e. Actually, e occurrence is 2 times, but it will return the first occurrence. First occurrence index number is how much? 1. Suppose if I say str index of index of A, then it will return -1. If that character is not there, then it returns -1. So we can use this to find whether a character is present or not. If character is not present, then it is returning -1. So we can use for verifying that. And if I use another option, that is last index of. Last index of is nothing but it returns the last occurrence index number of given value. It returns the last occurrence index number of given value. The last occurrence index number of given value. The last occurrence index number of given value. That is last index of. That means, for example, if I use str dot last index of E, then it is going to return how much? 6. So we have index of and last index. These are basic string functions. So let's see one simple example. Generally, how do we verify? One basic example I will show here. Generally, when we are designing some validations, we can try this. Suppose I am giving some file. Yeah, string3.html. And here I am just asking for your email. And here we are asking for email. So, and the data definition, we have input type is what? Text. ID is equal to what it is? Some email, txt email. Now what we need to do here, data definition, ID as email error. Once they finish typing on blur, verify email. Generally, as for the basic requirement, we need to find out whether email is having @ or not. If @ is not there, we will say, please add @. How you will find whether a string is having specific character or not? You can try that. Script, and we have a function, verify email. Here, we are going to just write email, document.get element by ID, txt email dot value. Whatever value is entered in email. Now, we have to verify whether @ is present inside this or not, and show email error. We will use email error, document get element by ID. So we have email error. Now we will write the condition. If email dot index of which character? @ is equal to -1. That means that character is not present. If it is present, it will be from 0, 1, 2, 3. If it is not present, email error inner HTML, we should display invalid email. And we will put some, please include @ like this. we will put a font color as red. And otherwise else, email error dot inner HTML, we will keep it empty. We'll keep it empty. Now let's run this and see. And here we are just adding something, some David123 and gmail.com, and here it will show please include at the net. I included at the net inside it. Now it is fine. So we can verify whether that character is available or not. So that we can do by using this. Right? Remember, this is not email validation. I am just showing you what is the purpose of index of and last index. Email validation means we write lot of verifications. Is it ending with .co.in, .com? Lot of logic we need to write. So whether it is present or not, we can verify. Last occurrence, if you want, then you have to use which option? Last index of. Every occurrence you want, if every occurrence you want, you just need to use a logic. You have to write for loops, iterators, and use them. For that, you need to learn how to write conditions. You need to use for loops. You have to read every character and you need to verify. It's a program you have to write. There are no ready-made functions for that. We have to write some program that you can write by using for loops and if conditions in next level we can do. So we have two important options, index of, another one last. Next important in the string functions. So we have another important string function, that is slice. Slice. So it is used to extract characters between specified index. SPR. So it can extract specified number of characters from given index. And we have substring. It can extract characters between specified index bidirectional. Between specified index bidirectional. So this is very important. In several interviews, they ask this question, what is difference between slice, sub-str and a substring? That is a very popular question in JavaScript based interviews. Because all three looks similar at certain stage. At certain stage, all look similar. Slice, sub-str and substring. But we have important difference between them. So what is difference between slice, sub-str and substring? I will show one small concept where they all three look same. They all three look same. I will show the difference here. Actually, I will add another one. So this is string4.html. Yeah. We are writing a simple script and a function. I'm using here, so not function, simply string is MSG. Welcome to JavaScript. And here we are using document.write. I am first using slice. By using slice, msg dot slice. I given 7. Okay. And another document dot write. I am using sub str. And here I am defining msg dot sub str 7. Okay. Another document dot write substring, and here we are defining msg dot substring and 7. Now you can observe that all the three are going to return same. All the three are going to return same from 7 to end. That means all look similar. That is the reason it's regularly asked question, then what is difference between them? All are used for extracting the characters. Then what is difference between slice, substr and substring? Difference is nothing but actually slice is used to define start index and end index. That means what is difference between these three? Question here is, what is difference between slice, substr and substring? Let's see the clear difference between them. Actually, first point is slice refers to start and end index. Refers to start and end index. So the end index value must be greater than start. The end index value must be greater than start. So the end index value must be greater than start index. That is the first point. So slice is going to, it is going to use start and index. Actually syntax will be like this. str dot slice, start index and end index. That means how you do str dot slice, start index is 7, end index is suppose 14, like this. What does this means? This means 7 to 14 index. It is going to read all the characters from 7 to 14 index. It will have a start index and end index, 7 to 14. So for example, if I write str dot slice 7 comma 7 and I am not giving end index, then it will read 7 to end. If end index is not defined, then what it will do? If end index is not defined, it will read up to end. Up to end, it will read. So here, suppose I am writing like this, str dot slice 7 comma 0. What does this means? That means from 7 to which index? 0, backward. So backward, this is invalid. It cannot read. It cannot read. That means the end index must be greater than start index. That means you can give 8 or 9 or 10 or 11. So you cannot go backward. That means only one direction you can read. And if you give end index, it will read the characters between start and end index. Suppose you see now. So I am using slice. I'm using 7 comma 14. That means it will read the characters from 7 to 14. 7 to 14 means welcome. This is to JAV, including spaces and everything, including spaces, right? That means it is going to do that. Suppose if I give 7 and I don't give end, what it will do? It is going to read up to end, up to end. Suppose I given 7 comma 0. That means backward. We are trying to read backward and it cannot read backward. It cannot do that. That is what actually the concept of slice. The concept of slice is that. So that is the first thing you need to know. Slice refers to the start index and end index. Then actually we have another sub-str. Sub-str refers to the number of characters from specified index. The number of characters from specified index. So it is not using end index. It is number of characters from specified index. That means syntax. Suppose str dot substring, a sub-str. We have start index and how many characters. You have to mention the count. So you need to mention the start index and how many characters. The start index and how many characters from that. Right? That is substring. Now the point here is, what does this means? str, sub-str, 7 comma 4. Is it valid? It is valid. That means it is from 7, 4 characters, some 7, it can read. It can read how many characters? 4. 4 characters. That is the meaning. So it is not end index. It is how many characters from there. How many characters from there you can define. Suppose if I say str sub-str 7, then what it will do? From 7 to end. That is the reason slice and this looks same if you don't give how many. So, but there is lot of difference between both of them, because the first one is slice is start index and end index, and sub-str is how many characters from that particular place. Now here we are having str dot sub-str 7 comma 0. What it will return? Zero means how many characters, na? 0 characters means it will not return anything. That means it is empty. It is not invalid, because 0 means don't read anything. That means from 7, no characters to read. That means it will return empty. It is valid, but it will not return anything. It's just empty, blank. Right? That is the basic difference between slice and sub-str. Now comes interesting is substring. It refers to the start and end index, start and end index bidirectional. It refers to start and end index bidirectional. That means in 2 directions it can read. That means now you can do like this. Actually, it is using str dot substring We have start index and we have end index. But advantage is end index can be backward also. The end index can be two directions, right side or left side. So that means this is only the method of string which can read backward, from that particular index. So str dot substring, if I give 7, 14, what does this means? This means, so 7 to 14 index. So str dot substring, so 7, this indicates 7 to end, right? Up to end. Str dot substring, if I give 7 to 0, this will be 7 to start. It can read backward. This is not possible in others. So what is difference between slice, sub-str and substring? So substring is bidirectional, slice and sub-str unidirectional, one direction. And a slice indicates start and end index, and sub-str indicates start and how many characters from that particular index. You can see now here. Let's use that also. I'm using sub-str from 7, I will give 4, or I will give some 6. That means from 7, 6 characters it will read, including spaces. It will read 6 characters. So because after 7 is an empty blank, it will read that also, right? Now, if I return only 7, that means it will read up to end. Suppose I given 7, 0. 7, 0 means sub-str will not return anything. It is not going to read anything. That is sub-str. Let's go to substring now. I given 7, so suppose 14. That means it is going to read 7 to 14 index. And if I say 7, 0, and you can see it will read backward. That means from 7 to the start. This is not possible in other methods. It is possible by using what? Substring. So that is the concept difference between these three options. Slice, sub-str, another one, substring. I hope you are clear. Right. So now I will give you a simple syntax. You try and tell me. Suppose we are having some email is equal to, it is a string, some name @gmail.com. It will be like this. Now, what is your concept is, so here the problem here is, task is separate email ID and domain. Email ID and domain. You have to separate email ID and domain. That means what you have to do, you have to create ID. In this ID, only some name should be stored. And in domain variable, only gmail.com should be stored. Understood? Remember, they can have so many messages, means they can have so many emails. Suppose they can give like different name they can give. Different name means what? For example, email can be like, so some John123 @outlook.com. Now what you have to do, you have to separate John 123 and store in ID, and outlook.com and store in domain. That means you have to create two variables. In one variable, only ID must be stored, and in another, only domain should be stored. Can you try? Right? That means what you have to do, you have to separate from @ am I right? @ before it is ID, @ after it is domain. Don't think about only that gmail.com. It can be any ID. It can be any domain. You have to separate ID and you have to separate domain. Can you write? Right? I will see. So in variable, that means you have to write code for ID and you have to write code for domain. Understood? What functions you will write here to get only ID and only domain? Index of @, it will include @ also. If you use index of @, it returns @ index number. That means from there it will read. That means it will read @ also. So what you have to do here first, you have to find index number of @. Am I right? You have to find index number of @. From that index, right side, that is domain, up to end. And from that index, left side, that is ID. Here, based on the index number of @, you have to do, right? So let's see here, simple. Let's see. Suppose I'm just giving here, I will just give a var email. You can take from text box or anything. I am using prompt. Enter your email. Whatever email they enter, we have to separate. Then I will give var first ID. How to get the ID? ID is nothing but, so if they entered the email like this, suppose some name @gmail.com. Now what we have to do? we have to read from alternate to backward, na? Alternate to backward. So then it will become ID. Then how do you get that? Email dot what? Substring. Substring from which location? Index of alternate. That means we have to use email. Email dot index of what? Alternate. And from there, which direction you can read? 0. That will get the ID. From that position to backward, index of alternate will get the index of alternate. From that index backward, it is going to read. Now see here, I will use where another one what? Domain. We will use email. Email dot what? You can use substring or you can use slice. From which position? Email. Email dot what? Index of alternate. But see what will happen here. From there up to end. You are not giving end means up to end. Whatever end is there. Now we will print those two details. So your ID is ID. And in the next line, domain. Domain is, we have domain. We are printing both details. Huh? Now you see here, when I refresh, it is asking your email, some john_nit@gmail.com. Then you see alternate is also included. That means it is going to read alternate from this position. But I want after that position, you can use +1. +1 indicates after that. Because alternate position means alternate is also included. Then we have to use +1. Mostly while reading right side, it will include that position also. While using left side, up to that position it will use. From left side up to that position. That means if I say 0 to 14, it will not include 14. It will include up to only 13. If I say 14 to 20, it will include 14. 0 to 14 means it will not include 14. The end index is not included. But start index is included. If you are starting from 14 to end, it will include that 14th one. That is start and end index important. So now you see, now it looks okay. You can enter anything. Suppose I entered some john_nit@outlook.com something. It will written like this. Your ID is this and your is this. Suppose I return like hr@some_nareshit.in. It will written like this. So you are separating the ID and you are separating the domain. By using a simple logic we can do. Because this is just beginning of string, we are looking at small examples. Later we will go complex. Because for that you have to learn conditional statements, looping statements, then the major options will come. Okay. Now next important here, these are basic. I hope you understood difference between sub-str, substring, another one, slice. These are important. Some more later I will give you. Let me give you this example for that. How you will find it. This is an example. Based on the index number, you can read. Okay, now here, another important in the string functions. We have another string function is split is a string function. Actually, it can split the string into an array. It can split the string into an array by using specified delimiter. Delimiter is nothing but separator. By using specified delimiter, separator. So, for example, we are having where some details is equal to, suppose I have some John and some 23, and David some 25. Like this we are having. Sam some 31. Like this we are having. Now what I want to do is, I want to separate all these three details of John, David and Sam from that string. And what is the separator we are having? It can have space or hyphen, or it can have comma, any separator. Then what you can do is, you can simply write like this. Details dot what? Split. Split which character? So the character, single character. That's why you have to use a single quote. The character is comma. Split always uses a single character. Always uses a single character. That is the reason you have to mention in single quote. In single quote. And important is, what is it going to return is, it is going to return an array in that John 23 and in that David 25 and in that Sam 31. Like this it will store. It is going to store details like this. That means it is at 0, it is at 1 and it is at 2. That means what split is going to do? It is going to divide the string and it will store in an array. In an array. And usually array can be accessed with index number 0, 1 and 2. In latest JavaScript, they introduced a concept called destructuring array. They introduced the concept called destructuring array. By using that destructuring, we can easily access without referring to index number. Without referring to index number, we can easily access. Actual concept here is, see, what is the destructuring technique is, suppose, see, I will show a simple concept. Suppose we are having a collection 10, 20, 30. Three values are present. Usually 10 is at 0, 20 is at 1 and 30 is at 2. Now to access these three, we need index numbers. Now in the latest JavaScript, they introduced one technique. We can declare variables A, B and C, three variables, and we can assign this array. That's it. Now what happens is, the value of 10 will be stored in A. The value of 20 will be stored in B. And value of 30 will be stored in C. This is a new JavaScript technique. So that you can easily access the elements from an array without referring to their index numbers. Simply you can create three variables and assign. For example, now if I write like this, where I am writing A, B, C, D, and in that 10, 20 and 30. Now what is the value of D? In JavaScript, if value is not provided, then it will return undefined. Undefined. It will return the word undefined, not 0. Because JavaScript is not strongly typed. If it is not strongly typed, for example, how you said 0? Is it integer? No. Then how it returns 0? Right? That means generally if it is in your Java or .NET or some technology, you declare integer. It will initialize with 0. Boolean initialize with some false. Right? String initialized with empty. But in JavaScript, not. In JavaScript, if you don't supply value, it will return undefined. If there is no value, it will return the word undefined. That means now there is no value for D and you try to print it. It will return undefined. D is equal to, it is going to return the word called undefined. It is going to return the word undefined. This technique allows us to easily manage the collection. Later in arrays, I will explain detail. But while working with split, you should know little bit about array because the result of split is an array. So see now what we will do here. I will create one example here. Suppose var contacts and I am using some John and his some number. I am using some David and his some number. Like this we are adding. And like this we have two details. I want to access these two details. Actually, this is a single string, suppose. This is a single string separated with what? Comma. It is a single string separated with comma. Now we have to split. Very simple. Declare two variables. What are those two variables? One for John, another for David. And into that, select these contacts and split. Split at which character? Comma. That's it. That means it will split at that particular character. And one will be stored in this, another will be stored in that. Now see here, I am using document.write. I will print John details. John is a variable. And you can see the details of John are printed. I'm printing, so in the next line BR, I'm printing document.write David details and you can see it is printing the David details. You can easily access after separating. For that you need this option. We have to use a destructuring technique. If you are not aware of latest JavaScript, then in old version how people used to do this. In old version how people used to do this is, they used to do in this way. I will copy. This is an example. This is new destructuring technique. This is the new destructuring technique. I will show you old technique of how we can manage. Old technique is nothing but we do like this. We create var result is equal to contacts dot what? Split. Split which character? Comma. After that, what we do? We will print document dot write. So first person details, result of 0. Result of 0 will display John details. You can see it will display John details. Right? And what is another one? So in the next line, we want to print another. What is it? Result of 1. This will return the second person details. That means it is going to return second. This is actually the old technique. What you can do is, to avoid that index, you have to declare two variables again. That means if you want to avoid this index, then what you have to do? Var what? John. In that what? Result of 0. And var what? David. So result of 1. Like this we have to do. And now we need to print the details of John and David. This is old method of JavaScript. These days, we don't prefer this technique. These days, we use the concept of destructuring. It's a very simple method. So this is old technique. That means how we do. I given two options. This is a destructuring. How many variables we declared? 2. Let's do one thing. Suppose I'm adding here another option. So var 3 details, John, David and Sam. And I applied contacts. Document.write, I am printing Sam. Actually, it is a string type. string type, it says, you see, it is going to return H something. That means it is not going to return anything. So it returns some H. And that is an unverified character, that is. And observe carefully. Suppose, because it is string, suppose if it is having numbers, then what is going to, if it is numbers, then it is going to return, I will show you. It is going to return undefined. I will show here arrays concept you will learn. What is it? 10 and 20. For 30, there is no value. That means Sam will be what? Undefined. Later in arrays, you will learn, right? I am not going into array concept. I am just explaining the point, right? So usually if value is not supplied, what it is going to return? Always it is going to return undefined. So it's okay. We have to just learn how to split and how do we collect the value. Now, by using this split, can you do the same job? Can you do the same by using split? Try and show me. That means separating ID and domain by using what? Split. Previously, we used index of, last index of, index of and substring. By using split, can you try the same? Separating ID and domain. By using split. How you do that? How you manage that? It's a very easy concept, na? Yeah, you can use destructuring technique. It will be easier. You can use the old way. You can use the new destructuring technique. Able to do that? Where you are storing result? You don't need +1 now because it splits at that particular character. Because if it splits at particular character, it will not show the character. The character that you split, it will not display. It's a simple process. What you do here. So what you do the concept here. See the same thing. So what we need to do here is this one. We are taking email and we are splitting at which symbol? At the net. two results will come, because before at the net one, after at the net another. Before at the net id na, the first value will be in id, second value will be in domain. Two variables we are declaring, and we are printing details. We are printing id and domain. Understood? Right? So now you see here, when we run this, it is going to display some David underscore NIT at the net, some outlook.com something, and it is going to return that. By using split, you can handle that. Right? That is a simple example for this same concept. This is another example using split, how you manage, right? These are important points. Next is, suppose you have a string like this. You remembered I told you query string? We can read data from query string input. There I used all these functions. Now you can easily understand, right? For example, what is the query string? Query string is some question mark, username is equal to some David, like this. Now what we need to do is, we need to extract only this. We need to extract only this, right? I hope you can do it now. It is what? str is equal to, this is the query string now. How do you extract only name? How you extract only name? Already I given this example. How you extract only name? That means we will declare a variable called what? User name. User is equal to str dot. We have to use what? Substring. Substring, or we can use slice. Right? We can use what? Slice. From which index? So str dot index of what? Equal. But equal also included, na? Equal plus 1. That means it will read. So after equal, whatever characters are present, it will read them and define. That's what already we implemented. In query string, this concept we implemented. Already I showed you input techniques. What are the input techniques? Query string. We have learnt about another one, prompt and form. Query string will come like this. We need to manage the query string by splitting and accessing the details. Right? Okay, now another important string method is in the string methods number 12. We have another important string method, trim. So it is used to remove leading spaces from a string. It is used to remove leading spaces from a string. And return string without leading spaces. So leading spaces means that is space before and after, not in between. It is not going to remove the spaces in between. It is going to remove the spaces before and after. Right? Right. Now, initially, this is also very, very important because, for example, we have a syntax where str is equal to, suppose we have some space welcome and space like this, where result is equal to str.trim. If you use str.trim, then it will display only welcome like this. Without spaces, it will return. It will remove the space before and space after. That's important because sometimes while reading, it will accidentally, we will have spaces in the characters. From prompt or from text box when you are reading, then problem will come. For example, you see, I am writing a simple condition. You will see the issue here. I am writing where your OTP, suppose, and prompt enter OTP. And we are verifying if OTP is equal to suppose 3456, that is the OTP. Then it should say document.write success. So otherwise it should display document.write invalid OTP. Like this we are giving. And you see now, I refresh here. I am entering OTP 3456. OTP is same what I am expecting, but it shows invalid. I am entering here 3456, but actually there is accidentally some space. A small space is present before it. It will verify that also. That is the reason it is showing invalid. That means the space before, I will remove that space before. Then okay, now it is success. Sometimes I defined 3456. A space after is also taken. Then it will say invalid OTP. These accidental spaces, we should remove them. Then what we do is, whenever you read the OTP and when you are going to verify, then first you trim. You have to trim and verify. You have to trim and verify. Trim means it clean up the additional spaces, then it will verify. That is better. In that case, even you have some spaces, 3, 4, 5, 6, some gap is there. We have some spaces here. It doesn't matter. It will verify success. We need to remove the leading spaces. For that, what you have to do, we have to use this trim. This is an next important. We have another important string function, that is match. Another important string function is match. It is used to compare. It is used to compare your string with a regular expression. It is used to compare your string with a regular expression and return true if string is according to the given expression. If the string is according to the given expression. According to the given expression. And how do you write regular expressions? Already in HTML, I explained regular expression by using meta characters and quantifiers. By using meta characters and quantifiers, we have to write the regular expression. Already we discussed. Now, according to that, we need to define. For example, you remembered I told you some predefined expression, at least one uppercase letter. Remembered? Right? So those you have to use. But the point here is in JavaScript, so that is important. In JavaScript, regular expression is written in a double slash. You have to write in double slash. In JavaScript, regular expression is written in slash slash. Generally, when you write regular expression in HTML, you write in a string style in quotes, because you write as a pattern. When you write as pattern in HTML, you use string, but here you have to write in double slash. Regular expression is written in double slash. So for example, I am writing the regular expression here, where regular expression is equal to slash slash. In that expression, we have to write slash D10. What does this means? What does that means? Exactly 10 digits number. Exactly 10 digit number, not less than or greater than. Now you have your string. You have your string written. Some string you written. How to verify? If str.match with what? Regular expression. So regular expression, if it is matching with regular expression, that means if it is true, what should happen? And if it is false, what should happen? You have to write condition like this. That is the basic. Match is a method which is used to verify whether the value we typed is matching with regular expression or not. If the string is not matching with regular expression, then it will say invalid. That means it will return false. It's a Boolean method. Usually Boolean methods will return true or false. They return true or false. That is a string method here. Let's see here. How do we use this? One small example I will show you. That means how you manage this. I will give a simple example. Let's put a data list and data term. So verify your password. And data definition, input type is equal to password. ID as txt pwd password, and data definition ID as pwd error, password error. Now once password is finished, or while typing the password, we have to verify its condition. According to our requirement, password must be 4 to 10 characters, alphanumeric with at least one uppercase letter. That is the basic condition we want. That means now see what we will do here. So we will write on key up. Why you are writing on key up? Because we have to verify for every character. Every character, I will write verify password. We are using verify password. Write a script here. Function. What is it? Verify password. First, we have to collect the password. Document dot get element by id txt pwd dot value. We are accessing password. We have to write regular expression. Remember, it's a variable name. You can give anything. And regular expression is written in double slash. In double slash, I am using question mark equal dot star a hyphen z. You know this? This indicates at least one uppercase slash w. Slash w means alphanumeric with underscore. Alphabet, numbers, lowercase, uppercase with underscore. What is the range? 4,15. That is the expression. That means password can be alphanumeric with underscore from 4 to 15 characters, and at least one uppercase letter is compulsory. We learned already this in HTML, right? That's the reason I told you that in HTML, if we detailedly learn, we can implement everywhere. In JavaScript, it is very important, right? In HTML, I taken 2 sessions of pattern concept, right? Why? Because that is very important even in future React, Angular, everywhere, because everywhere it is used in the same way, right? Now here, how to verify? Another one, PWD error. Document dot get element by ID PWD error. Now here we have to write a condition. Let's write the condition. If password dot match, is it matching with regular expression? If it is matching with regular expression, PWD error dot inner HTML, we will display strong password. And font color we will give as green. We will say strong password. Okay. Now else we will give password error dot inner HTML. We will say some weak password. Weak password. So I will just give here is, so at least one uppercase letter required. Something like this. Or we will say, these are techniques you need to follow. This is enough. I will say font color. Font color is what? Red. Like this we are defining. We can add a lot of conditions. Initially I just taken a simple one. You see now here, I am refreshing this and I click inside password. I am starting typing the password. Then it says weak password. I entered so some letters. You see some letters I am entering. But still it is a weak password. I will put at least one uppercase letter. Then it is strong. That is what it is verifying. And I remove that uppercase letter, then it is a weak password. Actually, conditions, so many we write. Condition means we will write strong password, weak password, poor password, multi-level if conditions we write. Later, when I show you conditions, selection statements, you can write multi-level. As of now, I am just using only one condition. If I have to write in a better way, usually what you do, in this else, that means if it is strong password, it is green color. If it is not strong password, here in this else, I will write another condition. If password dot length is less than 4, because we are expecting minimum 4. If password length is less than 4, then password error inner HTML, we will display as a poor password. Poor password and font color we will put as red. Otherwise, that means it is greater than 4, but it is not having uppercase letter. Then password error inner HTML we will put as what? Weak password. And font color I will just keep as gold. Gold is the color. And you see now what happens is I am typing. It says poor password. Why poor password? You can give more detail. Poor password and minimum 4 characters required. That is the message. Why it is weak password? So one must be uppercase letter. Am I right? And you see now I entered here. It says poor password. Minimum 4 required. Okay, I entered minimum 4 characters. Now it says weak password. Weak password, at least one uppercase letter required. Actually, there is no uppercase letter. I add uppercase letter anywhere, then it will become a strong password. Right? You remove the uppercase letter, then it is weak password. You remove minimum 4 characters, then it is poor password. We can even show, you remembered, I told you meter control. right? By using meter control also, you can show the graph percentage. For example, see what I am doing here. Below this, I am adding another data definition. Here I will use a meter. Meter have an ID as some status. The meter ID as status. This meter is having min as 1, max as 100, and value is 1. Minimum, maximum is there. Meter means it will come like this. Now what I will do is, meter, I will set certain width for this. So I will keep a style wherever meter is there. So width is some 150 pixel. Okay, 170 pixel, equal to that I will just give, that's enough. Now what we will do is, we will apply this meter is status. Meter have minimum, maximum and value. And remember, I need to change the meter 3 times. Strong password, I need to change the meter. Weak password, I need to change meter. Poor password, I need to change meter. So 3 times you should not write code. Then you can do one thing. If any code is written several times required, then you can first write in a function. You write a function. The function name I will give as set meter. Okay. This set meter function is taking 3 values. It should take 3 values: minimum value, maximum value and value. These 3 values, it should apply to meter element. How to access meter element? Where status is equal to document dot get element by ID, what it is? Status. That is meter element. Now status dot min is equal to min. Status dot max is equal to max. Status dot value is equal to value. That means the meter minimum value is the value that you pass. You will pass some minimum value, it will take that value and it will assign to min. You will pass some max value, it will be assigned to meter. You will pass some value, it will be assigned to meter. Now what will happen is, when it is a strong password, here we have to call set meter function. In this set meter, 3 values it is expecting. First value, minimum. Minimum is 1. Maximum is 100. Value also 100, because it is strong password na. Okay. If it is poor password, we will call set meter. What it is? Minimum is 1. Maximum is 100. Value is only 30. 30 value for the meter. Okay. If it is weak password, then set meter. Set meter. Minimum is 1. Maximum is 100. Value is suppose 70. I will give weak password as 70. Now see, now I entered here password. It shows like this. That means it is a poor password. I am entering minimum 4 characters. Now it is weak password. And at least one uppercase letter, then it is strong. Right, that meter is changing. So you remove that uppercase letter. You see the uppercase letter is removed, then it is weak. You remove this minimum 3 characters, then it is poor. You can change even colors also. Right, but this is a simple grade meter, how you define. Means additionally we can add such meters and we can apply the effect. The meter have to change 3 times. That's the reason I created a separate function. This function will take the values and it will apply to that meter. So this is a simple concept to understand how to use a method called what? Match. How to use the method called match, right? So this is one example. This is an example for that match option. I will give you one task. You try to do that. Right? I will give you one task. You try to do. Right? Can you try? Right. So what is the task is? So you have to design So you have to design a simple screen like this. And here it will have an option like verify mobile. And this verify mobile, here we will just put a simple. And actually here the mobile format must be, so this is +1 and 3 digits. After that 4 digits and 4 digits. This is the mobile format and you have a submit. Now important is what you have to do. You have to verify only that format. Anything else entered, it should say invalid mobile. Invalid mobile. That means you have to write a logic on submit click. On submit click, so here you can display the message invalid mobile. Here you can put the message invalid. Here you put error message. That means the mobile must be in that format. In that format. That means it must be in that format. You already learned how to write US format, UK format mobiles. Right? Anything else other than that, if they write, then it should say invalid. And if they write in that format, it should say success. Right? It should display the message success. Can you try? Right? You can try. Now, if you can try on this, I will give one more design. User will select his country. According to the country, it will change. That means user selects his country, India. Then this text box will validate Indian mobile number. If user changes the country, that means we will give a drop down. We will ask user to select which country he wants. And according to that, it can change. But for that, you have to learn if conditions, switch cases, then we can implement that, right? Initially, if you do this, then later we can do. These are basic string functions, right? Now we have other data types like Boolean, null, undefined, and others that we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay, this is enough for today, right? So tomorrow we will continue. Tomorrow we will discuss the other data types. Okay, right. If you can practice this, I will give more exercises to you in the next session. Okay. More tasks I will give to practice. Right.